Let's make that money. Let's get that bag.
Let me get that boom boom boom. Let me get that boom boom boom. You know, Black Eyed Peas was the shit.
They still are. What do you mean?
Well, I mean they don't make music anymore, so I'm not technically classifying them as the shit, but they were in fact the shit.
Yeah, you only get a certain amount of time to run music and be in the forefront. Um, then after that, I think it's like 5 years. I think they got a good 8 to 10 years out of it.
Yeah, I think they lasted a lot longer than 5 years. Like
That's just the average.
the average. Um,
Yeah.
can we think of? Well, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna say, can we think of examples of people that have lasted longer in music? But I mean, clearly we have people like M, Jay Z. Uh,
But you got to think about the run. We're not saying just
yeah, you're right.
lasting.
Lasting. You're saying the run, like actually, like being of a productive set of shows, basically, not just shows, but
You're
he
just
was in
oh,
the
you're the
limelight.
headline. You're headlining shit.
That's it. Yeah,
Like
you're in the headline.
you can look. I think Nicki had a pretty nice run. Taylor Swift is having a pretty nice run. Um, there's not too many that get that like that because you got to find specific like ways. Like even Hove is doing it like where he had to find specific ways to sell his album. He was going platinum before he even released the album by the deals he was doing with companies because his album wouldn't sell as much as it would during his strong run is basically what I'm saying. Taylor Swift has done it now too. So people Drake is doing it with Apple. They're just getting upfront sales from them and then they're going well Drake doesn't have to right now. He's still on his run. So he'll probably have a good 10
I don't
years.
know though. Like Drake's been on a run since forever with like Kanye and Eminem. That song,
Oh
you know that
yeah.
song. My never. Shit's going down at the mall. I can't fucking remember the whole song, but
I
yeah,
think
that.
I think he has I think he has about 10 years right now.
Oh, I mean, it's gotta be. I think it's gotta be more than 10. I mean, that song probably came out in 2000. Well, not 2009. Probably 2010, 11. So yeah, maybe about 10 years. You're right, 10 years.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things. He's dumb, and I think he came in the right time, though. Also, you got to think about that. The people were setting up these formats, and he just hit it in stride. So he's playing an excellent game plan on what he's doing, which he took from Hove too, because that was the only person that I seen that was able to do that, was able to grab people on the rise when they're hot in their zone and incorporate it into his zone so he could keep going with it. So and Drake's doing that very well by grabbing some of these young cats that are coming out with the SoundCloud rappers before they actually pop, get a song from them, hold it, let them pop, then come out right after that with that song. So it's finding a way to manipulate those numbers.
Yeah, right. Well, like you said, not taking away from, well, not launching at the same time as the big hit song comes out. Like right now, Drake's quiet, right? Like Old Town Road, you don't hear Drake. But then when Old Town Road settles down, you'll hear Drake.
Fucking Little Wayne made a diss dude on the Old Town Road diss. People are dissing him and shit.
Lil Wayne diss Old Town Road guy.
Yeah, that kind of disappointed me, man, because that tells me a lot about where Little Wayne's at.
Mm. I don't know. Lil Wayne dropped that album that like came out of nowhere, and I thought it was a good album.
It was good, but it was outdated because it was something that was sitting on the shelf.
Mm.
And I'm wondering, does he still have it in his tank by sitting there to come out? And his reaction to Old Town Road shows me kind of some kind of desperation to me personally. Shows
So,
like if he was
so,
still in his bag, he wouldn't even have mentioned that.
I was gonna say. So basically, what you're saying is Wayne's washed up, and he's just like, I need some controversy. So I'm gonna talk shit on the
I'm
the,
gonna
the, the
I'm gonna
cowboy
diss
black
dude.
guy.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Is he washed up? Have I heard anything since like I haven't heard anything that made me go, wow, that's like Wayne. You know what I mean? That's Wayne. That's
That's
that's Wayne.
Wayne.
I
That's
haven't
Wayne.
heard anything.
Not like we're getting more of like not Wayne's. We're not getting Wayne's World right now. Is what you're saying. Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, we got to give this update. We said we were going to keep track of Bad Barbie's career.
Bad baby.
Bad Baby. Why do I keep calling her
Because
Bad
bro,
Barbie? I
because it
don't
was
even
the
know her name.
because it was the first time you like planted it in your brain. Like that's how you are, bro. We've talked about this. Like whenever we met Rob, you remember when we met Rob Z? You were like, oh, Josie. Like that's what you did. He was just Josie, Jay Z. You could not call him Rob. Never, ever, ever could you call him Rob. Yvette from Motley Muse Studios, shout out to you. You never call her Yvette. You go Everlast or Everlyn or whatever the fuck you say, but you never call her
Oh my
Yvette
God, that
because
is bad, bro.
that's because yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that's why you thought her name was Bad Barbie, and from now on to you because you will never get it out of your mind. You're gonna call her Bad Barbie every time, and I'm gonna have to
Bad
correct you every time, but that's all right. But Bad Baby, yes.
Okay, so Bad Baby just inked her another multi-million dollar deal, a publishing deal, which I pretty much think means she sold some of her publishing of her future projects to get the upfront money. So
Mm-hmm.
she pretty much negotiated her a deal to get a bag now and say, I'll give you a percentage of my publishing. And way she's going, I would have to see the contract, but I think of we talked about who's representing her, one of the best global companies in the world. I think they got her a pretty good deal, something that she's not going to miss down the line, that she'll still have control over what she's doing. So I just want it to be known. And the reason why we're doing that for her specifically is because we want people to understand like how the business works. You could be the hottest person in the world and creative, but that don't mean shit if you're not making these type of moves. The person
Yeah.
that, yeah, you just got to make moves. So
Make moves. And Bad Baby, she's always making them moves. Like we
making
said,
moves.
she's been ever since she capitalized off the Cash Me Outside. In case you don't know who that is, who we're talking about, she's a Cash Me Outside girl, and she capitalized off of her meme. She got memed, and then she
It
made
made
it.
it. And she
That's what.
made it into this year so far. I think she's got a $4 million, $2 million deals on the table, and not counting her shows or
So
whatever.
what I'm telling you is you need to get on Dr. Phil, disrespect your fucking
Wild out.
mom, wild out, get a meme made of you, and then capitalize on that shit. Like you
Deb,
gotta get on the
that's
show.
what we're doing. We're gonna
Are
we're
we
gonna
both
we're
going
gonna
on?
shave all your hair off, make you look like a 15-year-old boy, go in there and wild out and get memed.
We're gonna wild out, get meme. Nah, I think we gotta do it crazy. Like we gotta leave we're gonna shave my face, but then leave my mustache, and then we're gonna leave parts of my hair there, like parts, chunks of my hair up top. And then we're gonna go in and I'm gonna wild out. And they'll be like, who is this guy? And then they'll find something to meme it. We'll get in the meme guy's pockets, and then that's how
We'll
we'll
release
make
an
it.
album.
Then we'll
We'll
release an
release.
album, right? And we'll call it shit, what will we call it? We'll call it I
I
don't
don't
know.
fucking
I don't
know,
know,
man.
man.
We're gonna have to see
Gingerlicious.
what the
We'll call it
meme happens.
Gingerlicious.
Yeah, we'll see. We're gonna have to let the people name it. We're gonna have to see what the meme they come up with, and
Right.
then we'll run with that.
That well, yeah, exactly. That we'll just run with the meme. I think that's no, that's fair. I think that's the best idea. Speaking of memes, man, we got to talk about it, man. It's everywhere. I can't stop seeing it. It's everywhere. Area
What's that?
51. The Area
Oh yeah.
51 ski memes, bro. Area
Talk to me
51.
about this. I'm kind of confused. I understand it now, but I'm kind of confused, like how it started. Do you know why it started?
Well, I couldn't tell you exactly how it started. Like, I don't know if there was a specific time and place. I just know that one day I saw some people joking around about this page that said, had an event saying Area 51, storm it, they can't stop all of us. And then it started memeing out of control. Me and you have talked about it, that I think there's probably some people behind the curtains with the strings that make the memes. And they're like, this month's meme is Area 51 ski, and then we're gonna make a bunch of memes on it. And all the meme people sat back, said, "Okay." Everybody, like the big meme guys said, "Okay, stand back. Everybody, make your meme, right? And then have your ammunition ready to start shit posting on pages and stuff to get these people sharing your content and your stuff and your memes and everything. Get that shit ready, right?" And
Okay.
it spiraled out of control. Because everybody was like, "Yeah, Area 50, 51 ski memes, bro. Let me see them." And then we have the jokes about the Rick and Morty memes, with like the alien chick with like fat tits. Like everybody's trying to get their own alien girl from Area 51, and then you have the memes of like the attack, how we're going to storm Area 51 by some crazy tactic, like having the Naruto runners hit from the right, and then have all the furries come from the left, shit like that. People just add
So
on
is
to
this
it.
something America agrees upon right now? What's the number in that? Or do we have Republicans and liberals going at it and say no? Are they fighting over who should storm or how they should storm it? Are they finding a way to make this a political issue? I could see that happening, yo. They'll find a political way to divide just the fun part of the meme, right?
Yeah. Hey, listen to this. You know who just messaged us in the chat?
Who's that?
Trey Frazier. He said,
Oh,
"What's
okay.
up, fellas?" He said, "Coach B, you gotta get your take. I gotta get your take on the Knicks this offseason. He's gotta get the hot take right now."
Oh, tell him, yeah, Trey, I'll get with you. We'll definitely talk about that when we get on Melvin Worldwide Wall Show, the Man Down podcast. We're getting that scheduled, so be prepared. I'm going to trash the Ravens.
I'm gonna try. He just come out and said it, bro. Neck. He was like, came for neck, man. Came for neck.
Right.
Now, no. I did want to ask you a question. Okay, well, I'll answer yours. You said, is the country in agreement about it? No. Just like everything, everyone's divided because you have a bunch of people saying they can't stop all of us, but then you have the other group of people, right? You have the
Hmm.
other group of people who are saying like, if you go there, you deserve to get shot. You deserve to get decapitated, like killed, murdered, whatever the hell it is. Like the we were talking about, there's people that think the government is right. If 300,000 people show up at Area 51 and storm it, they're like, yeah, the American government should kill all 300,000 of those people.
I mean, that would be crazy. To me, if there's something there, it is well protected. Let's just put it like that. You're not good. I think like the advancement of these things, like putting. I've seen where even like what's his name, Jesse the Body Ventura. He went out to certain places and he's shown what is actually in mountains. Some mountains that there's shelters and bomb shelters. It goes underground. It's like well protected. If that is an area, I would imagine that would be a high alert, high security area that you're not even going to get in it with human, you know what I mean, with humans coming to do that. I don't think they would have to do anything but try to deflect the information. You know what I mean? Like maybe set something off that doesn't hurt people just to cause chaos, and then everybody leaves away like, oh my God, the aliens are attacking. Something like that. I'm just something stupid that, or just show some images of some things. I guarantee you they have a play for that. What I seen it coming from though, I noticed. I think it's the Joe Rogan effect again. He had a guy on that came out and said he worked at Area 51. This is when the memes really started picking up, maybe 3 weeks ago. He was on there. He said that he worked for them and the things that was happening. His name was like, I don't know, maybe if you get a chance to Google, like Bob Lazar, Lazar, or something like that, Bill Lazar. And the story that he,
Bulbasaur.
what's his name?
I just made up a joke. I was like saying his name's Bulbasaur, like the Pokemon Bulbasaur.
Oh, I have no idea,
Nerd.
bro.
I'm a nerd, bro. I'm a nerd.
But he was saying the stories that he was saying, it was like, wow, how do you believe this guy? And he said that he actually did that once. Didn't storm it, but he took some of his friends. He said, I went back to my friends because he said it started getting weird, that he felt like something bad was going to happen to him because of what he knew. So he took his friends back there at nighttime, and he says he took footage of things and showed his friends so they would believe that he wasn't being crazy. Now, do we have any backup story from his friends and conversation? No, we just have what he's telling. Since after all that, that's when all the memes started coming.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that's one of those conspiracy stories, though, if you know what I mean, where they can say whatever because they're gonna say, because they have every way to deflect it, uh, any accusation of the accuracy of the information. So if you said, well, how do you say, well, why can't your friends that you showed tell us about this? Then he would have to say, well, because their safety's at risk. You know, they
Right.
can't come forward and say that, which is a thing where you can hold two positions at the same time because you could say, "Oh, that's bullshit," but the other side, you could also say, "Well, he
It's
might be
facts.
telling the truth." Yeah, you're right. He might be telling the truth, and that's the thing. That's why certain theories like that really work because you can come up with some bullshit and whatever excuse you come up with, it might work, meaning that it still doesn't destroy the story, and you could hold it that way. So, do we know if what Bizarre saying is true? No, and we have no way of verifying it, but there's people that are going to go off that and say that it is. We know enough UFO nuts and conspiracy theorists out there that are going to say that it is true, and you're right. That might very well be the reason why the Area 51 memes have came and saw, and they are kicking some ass right now.
And I think it's crazy enough that you're going to get the attention you're looking for. That's what I think because he was doing this in the 80s and 90s, I guess, or maybe even before then. I'm not sure exactly on the date, so that would have to be some research. So when he was saying these things at this time in life, um, why now?
Right. And like I said, I think that might be something that was coordinated with the meme heads because I don't think big memes come out unless the meme people are watching it. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be something that's seen. I think the people that make the memes have to see it. Austin, my buddy Austin Face says they're all gonna die, every single one of them. Any person that rushes Area 51 is gonna die. And he's. I was telling you about people that think they should all die. He's one of them. He's in the military. Faye.
So he
He
would
actually wants to
stand
get
up to the
trained.
ask him. Is he? So he's watching.
Uh
So
huh.
Austin, do you believe that if that happened, that uh, being in an army or whatever part of the service he's in, would he participate in defending Area 51? He would.
I don't even have to answer for him, bro. He's gonna pop up the chat here in the next second and be like, "Yes, I would. I would kill him." That's what he
He
would
would
say.
kill
I
the American
swear.
people.
Swear.
Whoa.
That's what he's gonna say, bro. I mean, I don't now whether he actually would go through with it, presented the opportunity and the thing right in front of him. I don't know, but he's the kind of guy who's wild who would say that shit. I've heard
Say
him
that.
say some
I would like
crazy
to hear.
stuff.
I think I would like to hear Melvin's too. I wish Melvin was on there to see what he would say about that. What would he take the orders that were given to him and defend it against American people against something like that? Or do you say, I ain't doing that?
Yeah,
Where's the
right.
line? Where's the line when you sign up for the army? That's a good question. Where do you draw the line?
I don't.
Because we talked about that earlier about America's not going to stand for that. Majority of America is not going to stand for that if they just attacked in like people out there that were just like doing something like this and America attacked them. Now,
Yeah, no. Now, Faye said it's legit a use of deadly force like in outforms, so it's technically justified. Because the people rushing Area 51, it's there's you could call it deadly force, and therefore it's technically justified to kill those people because they're coming at you with deadly force. You know, so I mean, whatever that means. Now, me and you, I might as well ask you this: would you shoot the people? Because I'm not shooting the people. You know, if someone comes up.
no, I never agreed with like the military life and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
never believed in that because I think they get a lot of people to do things they don't want to do and understand. So this would be one of those things that if I was signed up, I would be like, you want me to shoot Americans for over this?
Yeah, right, exactly. Which is even hard enough shooting people from other countries over something, being like, "Oh, I want me to kill these people over that." Like they literally had nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're gonna bomb these people's houses because their government decided this.
And
You
a
know what I mean?
lot of people, though, there's a lot of people out there that serve their country. Some people will say that they're, I guess, traitors or whatever when they got out and said that some of the stories and some of the things that they just would not participate in. And they didn't actually get any repercussions from it because how they played it so they wouldn't end up getting court-martialed or whatever it is that happens when you disobey orders or whatever. And people just like there's some things like and it was said one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, he was on one of these good shows, and he said um that if a lot of these young soldiers would know what they were actually doing this for, they wouldn't participate. We would have an army full of just crazy people, because that's the only people that would be like, you could tell them anything. They're just there to be like, yeah, I'm good. I want to shoot
People,
some enemies. I want to do, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things.
yeah. What was I gonna say? In terms of the bat or sorry, the oh man, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the in terms of being the person that's going to kill innocent people in any scenario, I just yeah, or you know, I don't know. I think someone has to hold up arms. Like they have to be literally a threat to your life before I could actually be like, oh yeah, like you need to be dealt with. Like you need to be dealt with. Like I have to take care of it. I mean, of course, in a lot of those situations, a lot of people don't have the opportunity. Uh, per se to think about it. Like you don't, you know what I mean? Because it's a split second decision, right? But in the military, I don't know. You said it yourself. Like signing on for it to potentially have to do that because that's the government's bidding. You know, where does the line of you getting to make the decision? Because in other words, it could be treason. Like Austin, my buddy Faye, that he's in the military, he's telling me if you're in the military, right, and you go to Area 51 and you know the secrets, that's treason. If you tell anybody about what happens in Area 51, that's treason. And you will go to jail forever. It's like the biggest crime against the United States country. And I get it. I get why if you tell people what's going on in Area 51 is a big crime. I get why. Because apparently it's a government facility, right? This is just based off what I know about it. It's a government facility where they do secret weapons testing and keep government secrets there. And if every Joe Schmo in America knows about that, right? How are we going to keep anything secret or keep a step in front of other nations like Russia or China or whatever else? I get that. So I understand the problems of secrecy. Now at the same time, I get what I don't think you can kill 300 if 300,000 people show up to Area 51. I don't
Right.
think you can kill 300,000 people and your government not be overthrown by the people of your country. I don't think it could happen.
I don't think so either. Like 300,000 is a big number to get to that place. So we think of it in this less. We can get, what is it, 70,000 people to show up to a football game in a weekend in a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured the number could be around that. Like they could get 70,000 to 100,000 people to show up at an area. So we'll think a modest number. Yeah, no matter what happened, you can't explain that. Like, oh, we were defending this, like this, we took this as hostile, when you can't defend that. There's no way that you can defend that anything happens to those people. But what would be a proper defense for them? Now, obviously, if you came there in them secrets, we need that place to be ahead of the game, which Lazar said in his thing. He said, listen, we were getting ideas from Russia. They were ahead of us. We didn't have no counter to show what they were doing and what they were showing to their people through our intelligence. So we stole some of their ideas to use in our country to present to you of why you think that there's some kind of extraterrestrial life or whatever like that, because we didn't want Russia or China, that bullshit, is to be ahead of us. So we were taking some of their tactics and using them. That's what he was saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, no, and it totally makes sense. I think that's a tactic that all big power countries in the world take because you have countries like Denmark that it doesn't really matter. Like oh yeah, like they're not trying. They're not a country like Denmark isn't vying to be a superpower of the world. Do you know
No,
what I
they
mean?
don't give a
They're
shit.
but that's why they're good at innovating though. They're good at innovating because they don't
They
have to.
don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They don't have to worry about that. That's nothing to them. It's like I don't need to be a superpower. I don't need to be in charge. Like I'm never going to be. My country's this small. Like this is what it is. Now, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Faye in the chat said "Viva la Revolution," and I said, yeah, exactly. I said because if you killed 300,000 of your own people, it's a wrap. Like the guillotine
It's
is
a
coming.
revolt. Yeah.
All of your government officials who were in your government, because back in the day, like when the French Revolution happened, you couldn't leave the country. They would know who you were and they would murder you. Now, if you go to fast forward to today, right? Our government officials, if we've said like, oh, you just killed like 300,000 of your own citizens, you
That's
don't
it.
care. That's it. We're coming. Either you get the fuck out or we're killing you, right? or whatever we're gonna do, throw you in jail forever. They're out, man. Government officials are gone, gone.
So I wonder, like I had always had this question when a revolution does start. I always think so. This would be a question for Austin. He's in the military. I always think that there would be, like, if it did come to something like that, like hurting American people, that a big number of the people that are in the armed forces that will pretty much do anything to protect this country and patriotic, but they won't do that. How many would put down their guns and go on to the other side? I think it would be a big number. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be a small one.
Yeah, if not gone on the other side, which I think most of them would, because they're they're military people and they're also people. They're not just like the grunt with the thing drilled in their head. If they're thinking people, then they would go, yeah, this kind of is fucked up, and I can't kill my own people. They would join the other side, or at least get out of the way. They'd say, nah, I'm not gonna be the obstacle here. You like, you know what I mean? They would just step aside, like, do what you gotta do. Like, I get it, like, but I'm not. Don't you know what I mean? Like, don't worry about me to stop you. I'm not stopping
And
you.
it would be at that point pretty much the country's fallen. So it's going to either turn into this. It's a huge one of those decisions. If it happened like that, and we're saying that we stood up and started a revolution in America, that means whoever comes out on top, either that person, either it's the people that say, hey, we had enough of this and we're going to take over as the people. So you should be fine if you step over the line and say, I'm going with the people. But if it's the side that you walked away from and they still got all that information as far as your registration, they're going to come looking for you and you're going to pay the penalty for that. So
Yeah.
I believe that also.
Yeah, well, here's the kicker. So Faye got back to me. He said two things. He does not believe that they're going to use absolutely deadly force, lethal force. The military would not if people stormed Area 51. But he said also at the same time they wouldn't want the base overran. So if the last possible outcome, they would kill the people. Like if it came to that, right?
Make an
Now,
example, yeah.
yeah, now, but he did say this that he doesn't know, but it would probably be a high number. He thinks that 60% of military people would stand out of the way and join the other side, like you were saying. He thinks, and he's in the military, so he thinks 60% of those people would join the civilian side. But that's weird, though. That's a pretty big number. 40% of people in the military would be like, all right, like we got to do this for country, for flag and
And
country,
that's
man.
large. That's large. And
Yeah.
they got all the ammo and all the well, that's not true because the country, like how they want to control guns, there's a lot of guns in this country just
Yeah.
floating around the street. They have the advantage of the high tech stuff. Yes, they do have an advantage in that. So I hate to. I don't even want to see that happen, but it is a fucking good discussion to have. Like, what would happen if that ever happened?
But Faye
What
Faye
would
has a
happen?
follow up, bro. He said he said that the our military would get reinforcements from the like the military that stands against the citizens, right? That are pro government side during this hypothetical revolution. They would get backup from the rednecks who couldn't join the military. The Yeezys would be like, the South shall rise again, or something crazy like that. Just pop up and be like, all right, now we can join in. And it's Uncle Leroy with his amputated leg in a wheelchair with a shotgun, a double barrel shotgun at the
That's
front
been
door
waiting for this.
at the White
He's
House.
been waiting for the next Revolutionary
Right.
Wars. Like his family tree's been waiting for this to happen for years. Wow.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting just to think in your small circle of people that you know, which way would they go?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
That would, you know
whoa.
what though? That would make you would know who your friends are real quick. Like if
Real
you need
quick.
a test, that's like one of those things in life where if you needed a test like to figure out who your real friends are, bro, that would be the line. Like you could just draw that line and be like, yeah, like I can't mess with you anymore, man. Like,
There was actually, is this a scripture or something? I don't know. The story of Jericho.
mhm.
There was actually a TV show a couple years back. They canceled it. I don't know why. It
Called
was pretty.
Jericho.
Yeah, it was called Jericho, and it was talking about the government and the countries coming together to take over from other people, and these people had a resistance and were fighting back. I never knew why it got cut off, but it was great how they're explaining it.
Was it?
And,
I thought it was a show about nuclear things, nuclear weapons. Maybe I was wrong. I never really watched it, so I don't know. I just was watching the commercials for it.
I think I don't know. Maybe nuclear was in it, but there it was basically they were. It was a starting a revolution. It was
Oh,
revolutionaries.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. This is another good point that Faye brings up. He says, but what if other countries that are American government allies, right? They have resources invested in America, help the United States.
Yes, and that shoe goes on the other foot. What about the ones that see an opportunity to get their foot from under off, get the foot of the United States off their neck and help them? That could go either way. Think
Right.
about that.
Yeah, right. Like I mean, because you'd have countries that are like that depend on American protection, right? Like Israel and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, we'll back you up. But then there'd be bigger countries like Russia and China be like,
Be like,
oh,
no.
oh, oh, constituents. Oh, would you like a place at the table? Here, we'll fund your weapons and blah blah blah. You fight the government. And then they'd be like, but then you have to do Russian interests, if you know what I mean, and do the betterment for us. Yeah, it'd
I
be a
don't know. I
cool.
think it would be very. I think it would be one of those things. I mean, it
In
would
World War
cause. It
Three.
would be a lot of destruction. It
It'd be
would be
World
a
War Three.
lot of destruction real quick. Then after it's settled down and people, it would go on for years and years and years. I
Yep,
think.
Faye, I agree. It'd be World War Three. That's exactly what it would be. Literally, it would spark an instance where our government killed a bunch of its citizens to go to Area 51. Would
It would.
spark
Yeah.
World War Three. It would spark it. Like it would be like ignition right away. I think that's the truth. Now we are now on an FBI hit list. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We will be killed by jackals tomorrow. Um, you could just
Bullshit,
he says
motherfucker.
bullshit.
I'm living in a bunker right now. I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
He's like, I live in a bunker right now, right? I'm sure. I'm sure you are. You're shooting this from the internet proof. You have encryptors on your Wi-Fi signal right now. They can't trace this back to you. Me, I'm screwed, and I'm not
Well, you better
talking.
get to this
I'm
bunker
not.
tomorrow
I'm
morning.
not talking, coach. They start torturing me. Start twisting my nipples, shoving things in my butt. I don't know what crazy stuff they're
Wait,
gonna do.
whoa! Why did you have to go? What kind of motherfucking torturers do you got? Who did you get captured
Oh,
by?
I'm sorry. I was watching 50 Shades of Grey. I thought that's what torture was. My bad.
Oh
Um,
man, but in all actuality, yeah, there is no limit to the things they do to you, bro.
right,
So
right. As I mean,
all that stuff is in play.
right. All of it's in play. Unfortunately, butt
Bro,
stuff and nipple stuff's in play. That's
are
just
you
torture.
holding me down or are you ratting me out? What do they have to do to you before you give up the goods on me, man?
Are
Can I
you
get
asking? I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah. I mean, because it doesn't matter though. I wouldn't tell because either way, we're probably both done for. If I snitch, like it doesn't matter. It's not helping me any. It just means like, oh, we won't kill your family now. It'll just be you and Coach.
bro, if you rat on me, I'm gonna make it my life's mission that they don't kill me, and I'm coming to get you. Like, damn, what the fuck? Why you rat
They're
on
gonna
me?
kill. I'm gonna be dead because when I snitch, they're just gonna hold me in a cell until they get you, and then once they get both of us, it's a wrap. We're both goners, bro. It's a wrap. It's over. It's like they're just gonna do it so like we die together. They're gonna make it seem like we went on a flight to Tahiti and we died in a plane crash or something, or whatever. I don't know. That's just my speculation. Whatever. What my recollection.
Yeah, let's just hope none of that happens. We don't want to see that. We're trying to bring peace around here. It's just very interesting to just think about it. Not
Right.
to
The what
see it
ifs.
happen, just to see what would happen. Like, what would happen if that really
It
happened?
would. It's like one of those ideas you have for a TV show, and then you make like a bunch of like you said Jericho. Like it's just like you make a TV show series and you just go crazy. Like Game of Thrones. It would be like the new Game of Thrones.
Modern day.
Modern day Game of Thrones, like Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, Game of Thrones. That's
And
what it would
just
be.
don't use like fictitious stuff. Use just like what really is in the world right now. Like what would happen in the world right now. I think that would be a great thing for people. I think it would be like one of these channels might save their save their career for a couple years. I mean, save their channel, their income for a couple more years if they came up with something like that. People would watch it. They would watch that. You would get their attention. It would be like, what was that? Lost. That was the stupidest thing I seen when I finally watched a couple episodes. I was like, why is everybody all fucking up and crazy about this shit? I didn't
Well,
get it.
I think it's one of those shows we have to watch like a season and then you get into it because I tried watching Lost too and I was the same way. I saw the episode where like the monster thing like was attacking them on the one part of the plane, and after I saw it, like I was over it. Like I didn't even care because like I guess the mystery of what the creature is was like supposed to draw you in, but I couldn't care about it. You know, like I just couldn't. There's not very little TV shows I watched that like really drew me in. I would have to think off the top of my head. Shows. Terra Nova was about dinosaurs. It was a show that was on Fox. It was good. I liked it. There was another show called Big Mouth, which is on Netflix. It's like a cartoon show. It was very interesting. I liked it. It was funny. It was fresh. Um, what was another a good one TV show wise? I can't think of a whole lot where like I had to watch all of it, but I can't. The
There's not.
Mist, the Mist that was on Spike. They canceled it. It's done. But the first season of it,
What was
even
that?
though it was
Stephen
weird,
King?
yeah, the Stephen King book, but they adapted it to a TV show, and I actually liked it. But now it got canceled after the first season. But you know what it is, what it is. It was to me like it was a show where like if next season came out, I wanted to see it. Oh, and Stranger Things, that's another one I watched where I was very enthralled. But I haven't watched the third season, so no one spoil it. Because if someone comes up in this live chat right now and spoils fucking Stranger Things season 3, it's on site.
It's on. Dev
It's on
challenge you.
site.
Dev has challenged you. He got some wrestling lessons this week, so
I
ain't
did.
no telling what could happen.
Man, hey, that's a cool thing to talk about. Give a little shout out to Imagine Wrestling in Altoona, PA. If you guys are trying to get some wrestling lessons, and I'm not talking like that fake wrestling where they fight at like they wrestle at colleges like Penn State. Like, nah, I'm not. We're talking like professional wrestling. That's the real wrestling, bro. And you can
Did
get
you
that
just
training.
flip that around and say that the wrestling, like high school and college wrestling, like that is the fake wrestling,
Fake, bro. Olympic wrestling.
Greco-Roman,
Olympic wrestling. Yeah,
Greco-Roman
fake.
style.
Fake, bro. They get paid to take dives, bro. That's all fake.
And that
Professional wrestling is professional. Dwayne the
it's
Rock Johnson, Stone Cold Steve Austin, those guys are the real deal.
deal. Okay, so but out there, it was interesting seeing going out there and seeing how it was done. I always wondered. I think like back in the day, I did watch wrestling. I watched it when I was younger. I think it is a younger thing that you could get, you get the younger audience to get on. I outgrew it, but I always wondered how they did those things. Like even going out there watching them, I still would, I still think that some of that stuff really hurts. It really, really
Oh,
hurts.
no, and I think that's the beauty because there's people out there that want to say it's like, oh, it's all fake and everything, but even if it is all fake, right? It requires an absurd amount of skill.
Right.
Absurd, an absolutely absurd amount of skill and physicality. Because you got to, I mean, yeah, think about it. Especially at the professional level, you got to, I mean, because they're helping you, of course, to make the stunt look real. But it's like a 400-pound man sometimes, and you're a man who's got to try and lift this 400-pound man and flip him, and make it look like it's incredible. It's like almost like dancing in a very more physical kind of way. And if you just screw up one move just slightly a little bit, you could really seriously
Somebody's
injure.
getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Or you're getting some balls in your face or something that you're not
Yeah.
supposed to have. You're
Right.
wrestling with some dudes, you're going to get some balls and cock in your face that you don't want to have happening at that particular time.
Which happens. Which
It
happens.
happens. It happens in
And
that sport.
they have to just keep going. There's
Keep going on. Keep going on. Yeah, it was impressive. I liked learning about how that goes. That guy, Ken, what's his name? Ken Downs.
It's Ken
I think
Downs.
he,
Yep.
I think he's really passionate about it. Me being a coach, that's what he's doing back down there. I seen the passion. I seen that he wants them to be correct and on point with it. So I respect it. I definitely respect that. That's that. And yeah, definitely go down there and check that out. What else did we have in all? Oh, let's talk about that real quick. Um, let's talk about the raids, man. The immigration raids. Like what actually happened? What actually happened? I haven't seen anything. I seen like little clips. I would think there would be more like
Mm.
promotion from the conservative side, both sides saying, "Look at the terror. look what we did. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But you're not seeing anything yet.
Right. Hey, coach, I have a question.
What?
Area 51 ski. Do you think it's a coincidence?
That
Think about it. I just thought of it while you were saying it.
that's being like memed up. Like, is it covering up for something?
Like there is nothing. Literally, I get on my news feed. There's nothing but Area 51 memes, right?
Right.
But there's not a single soul talking about that which just started.
Right. And just before we went on, I checked, and it's all saying the same thing.
It's
This is
not that people.
basically.
I'll
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say it's
Uh,
not that people don't care about the raids. It's that none of them know because this meme has taken over. It's on everyone's newsfeed. So there's nothing. There's no because there's not that one person that's saying, "Look at this," and the coverage is pretty slim. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that anyone on the conservative side is gonna want anything being shown of that, right? And you
right.
got the people on the other side who I think probably aren't. They're trying to get that video, but they're doing a damn good job of not being able to get it so
So
far.
we're saying they went out with a list of people. To me, that just is giving them the right. They're saying we got enough in our hand right here to question everybody. I wonder how many people, because I did read some articles like something in Florida, which of Florida is a big like I think is the number one in America, or at least in Florida, is Hispanic. They come from Hispanic heritage and countries like
Right.
that, and they they were saying that churches are hiding people. Like, it caused some friction. One thing I think that it did with the tactic of them saying it is that their surveillance of people to keep track of them, they can see where they can catch people in a group, because how they move after it was said that that's when it's going to happen. How people started moving that they had intel on, it would be easier for them to grab some people or what like that. But also, a lot of people are going to get away. They're going to be underground. You're not going to find them. The underground is still the strong underground music, underground railroad, underground, just underground. Like,
They're gonna
it's,
be here.
yeah,
I mean, it's one of those age old things where back when they had the slavery thing, right? When slavery was, it's a losing battle. Like when we were
right,
trying to free, it's a losing battle. Like there was people that were trying to hold on to that old way of doing things,
right.
and they just couldn't do it anymore. And I think this is what this is. I think this is another losing battle where you have people that are conservatives, and that's why they are conservatives. They want to keep things the way they were, and they want to, conserve things. The preserve they're more like preservatives, not conservatives. They want to preserve what is already there and keep it as long as possible. And that is the immigration thing, which is, like I said, Mexicans and illegal immigration. That was one of the things that kept marijuana. Like that was one of the tactics that they used to say that marijuana was bad, because they said, oh, Mexicans smoke it, and they're bad, and so forth. Like that was one of the
But
legislation.
Mexico has some dirt ass weed, yo. Mexico has dirt weed. It's
Right, and
not good.
they were saying that that was the reason why all that stuff was, why Mexicans are a problem. One of the many things why they said Mexicans were a problem. So it's one of those stereotypes. It's one of those things held by those people in the past that still has not died, and they are fighting it. And I don't know, because what it really is to me is, I think, maybe even more of a staple of national security, where they're saying, yeah, you can't just be anyone that come in the country, because you have other countries such as in Europe that are fighting infestations of Muslim overtake, where you have Muslim people coming into countries and everything else, which again wouldn't be an issue if some of the Muslims weren't going around and, like, because they're from a country that it's okay to rape women, basically. I mean, it's okay, right? Or it's okay to cut a woman's clitoris off because at birth, to keep them from feeling pleasure, or for fornicating or something. Things like that, stoning gays in the streets, that's acceptable. And when you have that kind of culture integrate in totally a different kind of culture, they don't mix. Now, what I'm saying for Mexicans, I don't think that's the case. I think that's far from the case. I don't think Mexicans are coming here to do any of that jazz. I think Mexicans are coming here because, just like most people, they just want a better life, and
Yeah,
maybe
and
Mexico's not
I
providing
think
that.
that's anybody. Like, nobody
Yeah.
wants to come. Nobody in the, and we're not saying that all these people. That's such a small percentage of people that even like go All Muslim people don't believe in that. That's just not true. Small people, it could be something that was a part of their past that they grew out of, just like we have.
Hmm.
But there's still people like you just explained that are still trying to hold on to things to this day about believing in cultures that are not, that, like, if it's not the white culture, which is that percentage of people that are trying to fight for these certain conservative things, those so-called Christians, evangelical Christians, they know that they're minority and they need to hold on and find divisive ways to do it. So there's so little small amount of that money, but they have the power. They have the power and the money to put it in place to manipulate certain people to keep it intact. So I believe that's what a lot of people, either in other countries that look at certain things. Of course, other countries have their things. You definitely have to make sure that people come in this country legally. I definitely believe that if they're not here legally, snatch them, send them back. If that means you got to catch and release them 50 times in 1 year, create more jobs for ICE or whatever, Border Patrol. Spend the money on that and stop with the look at. You can't tell me that those are not camps. That shit's ran like a daycare. It's not.
Hmm.
That
Yeah,
shit is probably not ran right. It's probably like not.
no, no. I mean, it's definitely probably like a concentration camp. We've seen it. We've seen it in, just the now the story, the narrative that Fox and other news networks are trying to spread, where they say, "Oh, look, they're watering plants." Right? Oh, look, they're doing this. I mean, you saw the meme I shared, and that's the same stuff that Nazis, literally Nazis, would put out when they were talking about their
Propaganda.
concentration camps. Like, look what we're doing for the Jews. Look, they're here at this place and they get to water flowers. Oh, look, they're doing this. But behind the scenes, right behind that picture, there's a couple of them in a room, a gas chamber, getting killed. Right now, am I saying that's what's happening with Mexican people down at the border? No, because I don't know that. You know what I mean? Because history's 2020. We know that about, the Nazi Germany. But here, I don't know, right? Because there isn't enough. You see pictures of kids being kept in essentially dog kennels, right? I what else can you do? What else could you say?
And
And everything.
it kind of reminds me, I did a little stint in the county jail, right? And this was crazy. This was around Christmas time. I had to actually stay there after during a Christmas day and had to wait until the holidays was over so they could do my paperwork. So, but during that time, there was like maybe a couple days the state was coming in to do uh, inspections and stuff like that. So I was already in there, and then talking to people after that, there was extra things being done. There was things that were you were being said. Don't talk to none of the people coming in here. Don't complain about nothing. Stay in this manner. Make sure that your hair's combed and all that. All kinds of different things were happening that weren't happening on a daily basis. So what I'm basically getting at is they probably took those inspectors into the best areas of the jail and didn't take them to certain parts of the jail. You know what I mean? Which, unless they requested, they weren't going to take them to the where they held, like the hole. It's called the hole or the shoe, where they put where people are being treated like animals. They probably didn't see that part of it, and that's what I kind of think that they do with these inspectors and all that. Like they're not showing them, like they're not showing the Guantanamo Bay part of it. They're just showing, you know what I mean? Oh, this is the section where we get them registered and we figure out, like, and that's my thing. What are you holding them for? Like, what are you trying to find out? What's the
Right.
info? What are you getting out of that? Like, we're wasting money.
Yeah.
Just catch them and release them.
Yeah, well, no, that's actually a great point. Faye joined back in the chat and asked me what the topic is. We're talking about illegal immigration, and we're talking about the camps and the raids and everything. Yeah, no. If you have a group of people
Mm-hmm.
in a building, right? Like we've talked about with the prison system, the same concept, right? Doesn't it cost more to have to keep them somewhere and feed them and take care of them? Essentially, take care of them, right? Wouldn't it? Doesn't it cost more than to let them you send them back to where they came from, or you keep them there until they go through the process of immigration, right, legally, and then you send them on their way, and they have to go make, you know what I mean? Because you don't have to take care of them anymore. They're in the American system, right?
So that's the process they're saying.
But why even hold them? Because then that's costing you money. Wouldn't
I
it
just
cost you
send it
less money?
back.
Yeah, wouldn't it cost you less money to send it back? And they're gonna argue, well, you have to send it back 20 times. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think there's one person like after if I'm an immigrant, right, and I go across the border illegally 13 times. I'm probably like at a certain point. There's gonna be a point. I'm not gonna make it to 50. I'm gonna come across the border and I'm gonna be like, I can't keep coming over. Like I got to do this another way because I'm just wasting my time. As a person in that scenario to me, unless like my family was in danger or I was in danger and that's why I kept doing it, which then that's a whole different process. You can seek amnesty from your country if you feel you're in danger and you can come to America.
Yeah, I
Totally different
think it's
process. So really, there is no excuse for why you can't do catch and release like you're talking about.
and I think like there's many different things that they could bring up that they say like, yeah, it would be dangerous just turning them back around and saying, I definitely would have a plan for that. Like, because there's people being left out in the desert by coyotes. They call them coyotes that are supposed to bring them into America, and they just take the money and just leave them somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a happen. I think that's more or less of trying to find like water sources to send them back. Maybe give them some kind of army meal and
Mm-hmm.
say, this is your risk. Like, this is your risk that you took to get here. Like, I can see that happening. Like, I would be okay with that. If they gave him something that said, here's some water, here's some thing, and send them right back, I'd be okay with that. I think it would be cheaper. I think that would be the risk that they would be taking there.
Yeah, like you did wrong. You knew that you couldn't come in this way, and for that you need to go back. Like here's
And
this. We'll give you supplies to go back, but you gotta go back.
And if you got to catch them 1,000 times, that's like what policing is. Like, how many repeat offenders like do you get stealing from the? You know what I mean? It becomes so much of a joke to you that you're
It's just
stealing again, Bob, or you got to go. We got to go throw you into jail for a little while. You know what I'm saying? If you catch him, to me, it would become now I could see how people would overdo it. You'd get some people that would probably be on criminal minds for doing some crazy shit
yeah.
down there, serial killing some people, picking them off.
Mhm.
But I could see it turning into like how I mentioned about the police. Like, it was their job to catch me. It was my job. They didn't take it. That guy, one cop, did not take it personal. Like, it was just like, oh, I caught Hector again. Hector, you're gonna get? I'm gonna catch you every time, Hector. Here's your shit. Go back. You know what I mean? It'd be one of those things, like right there. But to me, all this money being spent on saying, what are you really looking for? To me, the intel is there's no intel you can get out of that. Like, what intel? The guys, the main people, the main drug dealers, the main people that are coming are not coming in over the border crossing. They're not. These people have billions and billions of dollars. They are getting in here in luxury. Maybe some people will have to hide in a hard thing, but they're not coming over dying of thirst and almost dying in the desert. It's not how it works. They just laugh at this shit.
Yeah, what I was saying was, no, no, and I agree with everything you're saying. I think that there's those people, the people that are coming in with that stuff, they have a plan of entry. Because if you're running a criminal organization or syndicate, right? You have to have a plan or you have to have some kind of workaround. Like you said, you have to have the money, the power to get around things like that. There's people on the payroll. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
it's not like because they're not gonna come in that way. Why were they gonna come in that way? I think it's just sad. I think it's sad to think that that's the way it would be going down. And like we've already talked about on previous shows, the same concept still applies. If illegal immigrants are coming in, why? What do we do? Why are they coming in? Because if there's nothing here for them, they wouldn't come, but they come. Who are the companies or who are the people that are employing the illegal immigrants, right? and
Bingo.
and that's the bigger question. And I really don't want to talk about it because we've talked about it so many times. But to anybody who's viewing the show, think about that for a second. Who are the people who are employing the illegal immigrants? Because they wouldn't come here if they didn't have an that invitation from so and so. Like when they wrote back saying, "Hey, this is Jose. I'm writing back to you to tell you that I
I can
know
get you a
I'm
job.
gonna get you a job and I can get you some money for your family and blah blah, right? Because they're not just coming here to sell drugs. Like there's just no way. There's for one, you can't have 50,000 drug dealers coming into a country. It's just overload, right? You can't do it. You would just flood the market. There's no, so they can't all be drug dealers. They got to be coming in with something, either kind of skill or to come in as cheap labor. That's the only reasonable explanation. I'm just saying from a statistical standpoint. I mean, how many people could really be coming over to sell drugs or to voter fraud because the Democrats paid them money to come here and whatever
That's just
bullshit you want to make
asinine,
up.
yo.
It's just
That's
silly.
just asinine.
It's just
You,
silly. Like it's really
you
just
could
silly.
just pay the people in America that aren't voting to go vote. You know what I mean? That don't participate in it. You don't need to get people to come across the border to create voting fraud. It's not enough people. And for one, they did the numbers, they did the math. It's just bullshit that they're complaining. Saying that. What my thing is, just like you said, like about the companies, if there's no supply, there won't be a demand.
Mm-hmm.
There's no supply for jobs. If companies are cracked down on and they say, hey, we're giving you all these tax breaks, right? You guys are getting all this money. Now you're taking the cheaper labor and getting more money. If the government said, if we catch you, the fine is going to be so ridiculous. I don't care if it harms those other people that are working there that are Americans. That would turn that pressure onto that company. Say, I'm not
You
even
will
going
be
to get involved.
bankrupt. You will
Yes,
literally be bankrupt if we catch you. Bankrupt. Your company will be gone. Unless, of course, they may be doing the jobs that maybe Americans don't want to do.
don't want to do.
Right. And that's, you know what, though? To me, if that's the case, if that's what we're saying, right? The outsourcing, you're outsourcing those jobs. To me, that is capitalism. That is what it is. You say, oh, well, you're not going to do it. Well, I need someone who's going to do this job for this awful,
Cheaper,
terrible
yeah.
job for cheap. Come here. That is capitalism at its finest. I think I mean, that is a
And then they turn
byproduct
around
of
and
it.
call it hard work.
Right. Yeah, or yeah, no, no. Or what they would do is have those illegal immigrants come over here, and they're the same people that have them employed, like we talk about, are probably the same people that are like, we need to stop them from coming in because they want to keep it so it's like, oh, we don't want an influx of these guys coming in and then revealing the secrets. Of just all they want is come to our place, come
They
to
want to.
our
It's
reserve, our
another
farm,
deflection.
our factory, whatever it is. They just want that. Now,
It's another deflection, also too. They
mhm.
could say concentrate on the borders, but don't come to our companies.
Yeah, right, exactly. Make ICE go to the border rather than up north where they got the farm or something where they're all working. This is what Faye said to us. He said it's still like them trying to come across. It's still like them trying to come across illegally, but also at the same time, it's a totally hard ass test for them to come legally. So I don't know honestly what they should do, but I don't think our country needs a huge ass influx of people coming over.
No, I
I think
totally agree.
I think that's
Totally
what
agree.
he was saying was the test. Should the test be easier for immigrants to come over? Like for people to come to our country? Should the test be easier? What do you think? I've
No, I
never
don't.
taken the test.
I
That'd be a
think
good
that
thing.
we should put a limit on, like, has that been done? Has the study been done on, if we take this many people a day, we crack down on catching the ones that are coming in illegally and just catch and release, say, how much can we take a day without it causing a strain on the Americans, and stick by what we said that we always done in our time, where we help people and with refuge. But we have to put a limit on it. We have to say we can't just take people and let them come in on just easiness. Like,
Right.
okay, you want to come to America and get a shot at a better life? That's great. I think they should find creative ways
Mm.
to you can earn that way. Like, go, instead of giving these guys big tax breaks, tell them, your company, Jeff Bezos, I need 5 huge factories of Amazon. We're going to give you some, you can pay them in minimum wage because that's what they were going to do up in this country anyway. And then they can send that money back, what they were going to do. And then we can start picking people. Some people might escape. Some people might, you know what I mean? Turn it
Mm.
into some kind of positive thing instead of a negative, like, you know what I mean? But you have to go through a certain way to get to this point. Like, give steps to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, yeah, no, I agree. A process of coming in and maybe not make it so much of a knowledge test, but what are you gonna do
Skill.
for the yeah, what are you gonna do for the country test, right? Because I think if you're thinking about it from a capitalistic standpoint, it's an investment. Bringing someone into your country is like a business investment, right? I mean, we talk about business a lot. It's an investment. You're bringing someone in your country in the hopes that they are not going to mooch off of your system and take advantage of it, but rather come in and benefit the parts of the country and make it a better place to live in. Whether it's providing a service, whether it's opening a business, whether it's providing some kind of technical skill or knowledge. Say you're a scientist or something, right?
Uh-huh.
Those kind of things. Bring in that kind of thing. Now, also, still have the process where you don't need a particular skill to come in. Just do this, right? Like you have to pass this test, the benchmark test, so to speak. So yeah, I know I totally agree with everything that you're saying when it comes to that. Um, but I mean, for me, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Coach, do you got anything else you want to say?
No, there's pretty much nothing. I'm getting ready. I just like to say that I'm getting ready for football, so I will be hopping on all these, all of our guys in our networking systems platforms and talking shit and representing the Steelers. So get ready, Melvin and Trey. I'm coming.
Right. And we're talk about that. I'm excited for football season 2. I want to give a big shout out to all of you guys, all of you people. I haven't posted the interview yet. I was gonna do it tonight, but it's kind of late, so I might just wait till tomorrow morning. It's done.
Mhm.
But we had a great time with. Anybody saw our post the past couple of days? Julia McCauley. She was a girl that we ran into who was raising money for the National Cancer Society, or the is it National American
Cancer.
Cancer Society, and it's just great. I mean, it's a good story. I mean, we just came across her, and she was so well spoken, and she had a great cause, and we had to get behind it. We made a post. You guys all went out and supported her, and we appreciate the hell out of that because we had people that said that they were from told her that Bridging the Gap sent them, and went out and got lemonade and gave her money. Not just paid 50 cents for the lemonade. Some of you gave more than 50 cents for the donation. So for that, you know what I mean? I'm thankful. I really do greatly appreciate you guys going out and doing that. I joke around because I'm like, right now we got the best fans, but people that are willing to do that, you guys are awesome. Like I said, don't
Right.
forget that. And Julia, great work, good hard work, and you're going places. If you're watching this, you're going places. So, you know, I just want to say
Exactly.
that.
And another thing, and just to piggyback on what you were saying is, that's what it was about. Was like that's pretty much what we do around here, and we're figuring out in the future those type of things we don't. But that's the power of it was like the people that shared it and got it to the right people that came in and said, "Hey, man, bridging the gap send us," and we helped with her reaching her. I had no doubt that she would have hit her goal anyway. But we just helped on getting to that probably a little quicker. So thanks for everybody out there that did that. Yeah, good look, and look for things like that. Let us know these type things, stories, so maybe we can get everybody in one spot that does it, and maybe like figure out a way to get their story out, and we can date it. And but it'll that takes a lot of time to go out and do every
Yeah,
individually one. So
yeah.
if we could figure those out, even if we can just put a post that says go check them out.
Just share a post. Yeah, I mean, because really that's what it took. I mean, we took the time to really film and sit down with her and interview her, make her feel special, and she is. But what I was saying is, it's hard when you have to go out and film every single individual person. So even if we could just get a post out, if you're someone, our support equals support movement is coming, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're just a person doing something, get at us. We would love to just, even if we can, just share it. Just share it, and that way people can see it, give you a platform to put your stuff on. But as always, your boy Dev, he's out of here. Coach B, be seeing you. Have a good one. Peace.